and assistant professor of oboe at Shenandoah Conservatory. Our first ensemble will be performing Eugene Bozza's Trois, pièces pour musique de la nuit for wind quintet. The ensemble is Ellen Ensel, flute, Andrea Schewe, oboe, Kimberly Morgan, clarinet, and Kathleen Emery, bassoon. Again, welcome, and we hope you enjoy the masterclass.
Stephen. Hi. And I'm going to be working with you today. I thought that was really wonderful. I know there are a lot of little details that we can work on here. Generally speaking, I think you have a nice concept of sound for this piece. It's a very light, almost kind of Mendelssohn kind of thing. And I think you're generally getting that feel good. So we're going to talk about a little bit of balance stuff. We're going to talk about a lot of dynamics, where you can come out of the textures more, and get a few more of the details that'll make this piece really come alive. So, right from the beginning, I want to see if we can get the right feel of this dee-dum-dum-pa, dee-da-dum-pa, which will set up the flute solo really nicely. So I just want to hear the three lower winds first. I know it says diminuendo. I would take that with a grain of salt. So think of it more like that first note is a tenuto, and that the two rising eighth notes afterward are just kind of straight across. Ti-da-da, ti-da-da. Let's hear that first. Just the bassoon, please. And then you give me a little bit of length on the end of that, the tie date. Ti-da-da, ti-da-da. And if you can, do vibrate. Give me a little bit of that on that tie note. Good, okay, so now we've got that flow going. You guys, so this is where it's nice to be sensitive to your oboist. She's in the low register, which for us is the hardest thing to do, to play quietly and articulated in the low register. That's the reason the second oboe job in an orchestra is the hardest one, because that is literally your job. Okay, so give us a little bit more so that she's going to feel a bit more comfortable. So,
you want me to play a
little bit more, yeah.
I thought it was covering her up.
No. No. Yeah, so just give us a little bit more on that. So let's try all three of you. Ready, and. And that's part of it, like, because then we start to get really like, if we feel kind of naked. And so getting that support from the clarinet is extremely helpful. And then what I would say will help, and you're already doing this, but let's codify it and make it clear. You're putting a little bit of weight on the front of the note and then having a bit of a taper. 100% correct. So let's make that a clear thing that we're doing. So we get this dee-da-dum-pa, dee-da-dum-pa. Let's try that again. Good, okay. So now, just to make this, give us a little bit of something going on here. Since y'all are the first thing playing, make the first two bars like mezzo. And then when she comes in on the flute solo, just drop it back a little bit. Kind of follow the oboist a little bit on this, because again, she's going to be honking out some low notes here. So we want to be sensitive to that. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to add the flute solo to this. Okay, so again from the beginning, and so keep your little motor going over here, and then I would ignore the mezzo forte and play louder. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Already sounding better, and I'm liking the little bit of elevation here. I want even more, if you can. It's a long phrase for a flute, but I think you can probably do this. Every time you have those tied into quarter notes on the downbeat, if you can give me a little bit of vibration that carries us into that next thing, that's really going to get us there. I mean, really, you want to take me all the way to that final G. Right? All the way. Just the flute solo. Ready? Draw a line. Still going. Still going to there. Breathe. Keep going, keep going. And good. Now I think if we put that with this, I think we're going to be golden. Beginning. Ready. That y'all kind of intuited that moment where she took us a little bit more and y'all came with it. That's good chamber music skills right there. Good job. Quick little nitpicky thing. Play your C, play your D. Play your G. And the higher octave. Can you bring it down a little bit? There it is. Good. Okay, if we go on, okay, so now the oboe takes over. Yes. Well, let's hear it. So everybody at one, pick up to one. We have a bit of a duet going on here between clarinet and oboe. At your leisure. Call this kind of a little B section here. So we clearly have modulated a bit. And in this period of music, I feel like when we see these drastic modulations that you start seeing in French 20th century, it really is saying we need a color change here, right? I think it's okay if the tempo picks up just that little bit, and if maybe your vibratos get a little bit more active, right?
You're talking about 4 or 5 bars after?
Around one. Yeah, just this new kind of section here. Let it move a bit. Give it a bit more intensity. Nothing too crazy because it is night music mostly, but you know, give me a little bit of edge. And so for oboe, I think you can, and definitely when you have yours, like fight a bit for attention here. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. So we've pushed it a bit, right? 2, 3. Oh yeah, oh yeah. This is what you do with this music. Yeah, otherwise it's just notes on a page, and who wants to do that? Okay, so so I would say actually let's put a retard in that bar. This is 3 before 2. And just all this intensity we've been building up, let's let it relax a bit, and then we go forward again. So right on 2 before 2, just a tempo, just a bit of a stretch. So I want to start with this, where the flute takes over, but let's start at 5th bar of 1. Really lean into the second beat, right? Make us a little bit seasick here, okay? 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. Yeah. 5th bar. Yeah. Let's start right on the 5th bar. Just right on it. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. Right on the 5th bar. Yep, right on the downbeat. G sharp. 4, 5, 6. Or if you can. So now, let's just make sure that we know what we're doing with these chords here. So in the 5th bar, beats 2 for all the winds, the low winds. It's kind of weird referring to the oboe as a low wind. But just you guys on the 2nd beats each time, because I want to kind of check these chords real quick. So we got an A sharp, a concert C sharp, and a G. So you've got a diminished chord thing going on here. So go ahead and play your C sharp, or A sharp. Oh, too far. Bassoons and intonation is such a tricky thing. Go ahead, add your D sharp. There it is. And we do it again with the lowered A natural now. Next bar. You're going to feel like you need to pull down lower even. That was perfect what you just did, because now it's the 7th of the chord, so you're going to want to really sink into that one. And playing flat Gs on oboe is super easy. I think for bassoon it's a little trickier. Yeah, sometimes it's good just to like take those out of context and see this is what it feels like when it's in tune, and then usually we get a little closer each time we play it. Yeah. Okay, so now everybody, 5th bar of 1. Even more swell if you can to those middle of the bars. Yeah, you can really go for it here. And and also when we get to 2, more on the forte. 1, 2, 3, 4. In this section. What a horrible written oboe part, right? F to blow B. Okay. So let's see here. At 2, I thought we're generally going pretty well here. Where I want to make sure we spend a little bit of thought is really getting these good transitions between bassoon and clarinet. They're pretty good. I think generally you can probably come out a bit more. And then we're going to talk about your solo in a second. Huh? Yeah. So let me hear y'all, the 2 of you just do that. My Oklahoma comes out every now and then, and I say y'all. Yeah.
4 bars after 2?
Yes. Just you 2. Go ahead. Can you be a bit more anticipatory? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. That's it. That's good. That's good. Now, in the solo, when you go down to these lower octaves, it's probably similar for you guys. I find the best thing for me to do is to get out of the way with my face and keep the body open and just blow straight through and trust the instrument. And an oboist saying that to a clarinetist. So can I hear you try that? And just, if we think more in terms of the line we're creating, that low note, the low notes don't really matter here. We're playing dee-da-da, dee-da-da-da, that C major triad. Really think about that and just let the low note be what it is. Can you try that? Just those 2 bars, the dee-da-dum, be-da. That's already better, because I'm feeling just a greater sense of connection, right? Sometimes it's one of those things where the less you do, the better it is. Can you give me a bit more of a crescendo toward the end? Yeah. And yeah, probably for the high C, you'll want to taper a bit with the embouchure. I'm loving this a lot more, though. I think I can push you to do even more. Specifically, the connection between the F and the C. Sometimes I have people do this. I want you to play the F and hold it. We're going to have a bit of a moment here. It'll be great. And you're going to love the end of this. It's going to be awesome. Okay. So I want you to hold the F, and then I'm going to coach you through a crescendo. And then when we're ready, I'm going to kind of point, and then I want you just to suddenly move your fingers into the position for the C.
And play the C?
Yeah. So hold the F. Play more. And C. Good, do that again, and then hold the C when you get there. Hold it. Okay, now we're going to do that more quickly. Okay, so F. Okay, now I want you to play dee-da-da. Same concept. Remember what you just did physically to make that work, because that was right. Okay, you had the connection between the F and the C that we're looking for, so you can do it. So now what your goal is to replicate what physically happened in your body so that you can do it again and again and again. It's not guesswork. Here we go. 4, 5, 6. There it is. Yeah, that was the connection. Yay! Okay, so everybody, let's do 4th bar of 2. We don't need to hear the flute and oboe first bar, but do come in on that second bar. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Okay. I know it's really low. How much louder can you play there? Oh, good. Yeah. The G flat, F, E flat, that whole thing.
Oh, before 3.
Yes, just before 3. Those 2 bars. And since you're playing a flute in the lower register, the mezzo forte is a lie. Yeah, make it like double forte. Seriously. Yeah. You'll have an impossible time trying to project down there, and so sometimes you have to just ignore the dynamic. Yep. And then oboe, you can actually play more at 3. Yay! All right, let's do 2 before 3. Actually, I do want to start same spot again, so that we can get that, because you play the same thing she just did, but. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what fingering are you using?
For what?
For that spot, F, F, B.
Oh, I'm using regular F and then jumping down to the B. What would you suggest?
What do you mean regular F?
But, you know, this
R, okay, yeah. I would probably do, okay, so I'm also a fan of not using forked F too often.
Right.
But if it's on a weak beat, it's okay.
All right.
And beat 6 is as weak as you get. So I would do left F on beat 5, switch to forked F on beat 6, so that leaves your pinkies open. And since you're playing on a fancy oboe, you don't need to use the E flat to vent the F.
Right.
Yeah, so then that leaves your pinkies open, so you can just put the B in place.
Okay, I'll try it.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, just.
Why can't I just do the forked F on both Fs?
You can, yeah. Yeah, and again, since they're both on kind of weak beats, I think it's not going to.
I might be able to work that out, but that's just a little, I can't do it smoothly immediately.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So
so.
I have permission to play forked F?
Yeah, so forked F is a thing on oboe. Like a lot of Europeans use forked F pretty regularly. Americans tend to be more into like a consistent, every note sounding the same kind of deal. So forked F tends to be kind of a fuzzy note for us. And so we tend to avoid it. But sometimes in really technical passages, you kind of have to use it. It's just a kind of awkward thing on the end. Every instrument has something awkward about it. That's the one that's awkward for us. But where I tend to change my mind on that a bit is if I want that different color, like if I want something that's a little bit fuzzy, or if it's on a weak beat, it's okay. It's going to be a little bit less clear. So if we use our regular fingering on strong beats, we're good. But if you land on that with that forked F, it's not going to sound as supported as everything else. So, yeah. Good. A little bit of intonation stuff. Let me get the people playing chords at 3. So no oboe for the first 2 bars, no flute for the second 2 bars. So do come in on the 3rd bar, okay? Let's just do each one at a time. So here's the first one, go ahead. Play a little lower in pitch and a little bit fuller sounding. Good. Yes. Okay. Next one. A little less. I want the 2 of you to play. Just come in on your B on the 3rd bar. Here we go. Ready? At 3, and stop playing when we get to the 3rd bar. Oh. This is a horrible thing that they did to the oboe here. All right. Ready? And. Right. So. This is one of the things where you just have to get into the reality of what it's like to actually play the instrument. You know, Hindemith is one of the only composers who actually played every instrument that he wrote for. And so a lot of times a composer doesn't take into consideration like the realities of what's happening on our instrument. So, you know, and that's where we as an artist have to kind of interpret and make it work. And you're in the low register already, and so you're gonna be softer. Yeah. And then do whatever you can to get the B quiet, but you're probably fine. Stay relaxed, stay open. You're a singer, you know. All right, everybody at 3. 1, 2, 3. So you 2 need to communicate on that, right? Good. Let's do the a tempo. So this is the bar before 4 that's in question, making sure that your hymnal is lined up. I don't mind a bit of a writ there. It's kind of already written in, so don't go crazy. But it can start to relax here for sure. We're getting to the end. 1, 2, 3, 4 before 4. Can y'all quickly memorize the bar before 4? It's 3 notes. It'll be fine. Yeah. I want to see connection here. Like maybe even like, since you're in an easier seat to do it, so you just, you know, kind of look over at her and, yeah. Let's try that again. 4 before 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the right idea, and as y'all practice that, I think that's going to be great. So let's get the right sound here at 4. I wonder how much of a diminuendo y'all can make going into 4. This is the part where you definitely should do it. And then give yourself a little bit of space. So, etc. Right? Bar before 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. at the end. So I think it's right for you to lead this. If you can play softer on that G, though, would be good, because then we need to make room for her.
Oh, on this two.
The G, A, G. Yeah, you're part of the chords moving. And again, she's unfortunately kind of a low register for the flute. Just start right on 4 so we can get the right sound here. Let me have the 3 of you actually play that first note. Go ahead. Just the first note. Just the first note. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to like push it to the point where it won't work anymore.
Yeah.
Go ahead. That'll work, yeah. And so a lot of it's going to come from the middle voice, just making sure she still feels supported, and then you just need to play a little louder. Yeah. Everybody, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. More flute. Good. How are we on time? Okay, good. Second movement, le deuxième mouvement, s'il vous plaît. So this one, it's all about texture, right? This is the one that to me definitely feels like Midsummer Night's Dream, like it's very clearly like that. Okay, I don't think there's any guessing there. So light articulations, but not pecky, right? Let me hear the first 4 bars. Ready? Good. Generally, when I was listening before, more flute. 1, 2, 3. This is so hard to do. I mean, it really is. And again, it's just one of those balance issues, like, because they've got you on this solo on a low C. Yep. And the oboe is also on a low C in, like, you know, honk range for us. So, like, yeah, so you just have to play as loud as you can. Okay. You do.
And this is more metaphor.
Right. But again, realities of the instrument, all of that, right. Balance wins. Yep. Good. I think that now that the balance is sounding better at the front, let's keep going. So 2, and yeah, just a lot more flute and everything you can to play soft. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. So I actually think this is the first time I've felt this way. At 2, a little bit less bassoon. And you guys, on your ta-ka-ta, 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 try to be a bit more rhythmic with it. Not quite, bit more rhythmic. Not quite so forward, actually. And so ta-ka-ta, ta-ka-ta, ta-ka-ta. If we let it ta-ka-ta, da-da, it's going to start to rush, and then she's going to have a panic attack. Yes, and some of that then is also leading to the bassoon tending to push on beat 3 a bit. Dum, bum, 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 taka-dun, dun, taka-dun, dun, taka-dun, dun, taka-dun, dun. Let's get this motor going here. Just for 4 bars at 2, no flute. Da, taka-da, da, taka-da, da, taka-da, da, taka-da. Ready, and. Okay, and why don't you jump in when you have that ta-ka-ta, ta-ka-ta, and then drop out when you have the solo line. Ready, and. Good. That feels so much more comfortable now. Just like it's sitting in that groove, which is good, yeah. So now, next thing, you two. I want to hear da-da-da-da-da, dee-da-da-da-da, dee-da-da-da-da, dee-da-da-da-da. So only play those patterns when you have them. It starts with a flute. The goal here is to match your dynamic level. So you're probably going to need to come up, and you're going to need to come down. And if you're at your limit, you can say so, like, I can't play any softer, sorry, and then she'll do what you can.
One. Are we talking right at 2 or?
This is 4/4/3.
Oh, 4/4/3.
And overall a crescendo between the two of you. Yeah, all 4 bars. Ready, and. Good. Can you give me a bit more on the second one and make that D very clear? Ta-da-da-da. Ta-da-da-da. Ready, and. More crescendo on the second one. Ready, and. Yes, now in context that's going to sound awesome. Okay, 2. Ready. I know we're starting to run out of time, and let's see here. You said something about questions. Do we need to stop for something, or? Okay, all right, then let's jump to the last movement. Most of what you just did in that is going to translate to the rest of it, right? When you play fast, light stuff, I find it's really good just to kind of find a way to make your brain believe that it's easy. And often for me, it's just sitting on the back side of the beat usually helps a lot. Yeah. Okay, so let's hear the chorale. Definitely good to be in tune before you start this one. Right. You're low, you're high. Actually, you sound about right. So, is there a way to get it up higher? Like, can you push in any? Getting there, yeah. Yeah, because you're having to pull it down quite a bit. That's that area on bassoon, yeah. I have a colleague, we have a lot of conversations about this. And in the oboe, on the oboe, our lower is just flat. So like if we're in octaves and like he's down low and I'm down low, it's tricky. So anything you can do to get it up, it's going to be good. So I know it's simple, but I think that we can give it even more shape. Dee da 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 dee da da da. And here even, I would not overinterpret the diminuendo a bit, because I really want us to go to that third bar a bit. That's a little low for me. Dee da da it's a little bit more shape. I love this kind of textural stuff. Like you've got that colorful E flat. I would really lean into that. It's like singing a chorale. So you've got those moments where you are out of the way, but then suddenly you have that color note, so bring it out. You have something similar in the second bar of 1, right? So kind of team up here on this. Generally, as always, play louder. All right, pick up to 1. And give me lots of shape into that second bar. They did a beautiful job of that, so mimic it. 1. Good. And notice the diminuendo does not actually start until you hit that note, right? So take me to that note. Finish the note before it and get me all the way into it. Okay? Sing spot. 1. here, I think we just need a better breath map. Dee, ah, da, dee, ah, da, dee, ah, da, dee, ah, dum, dee, ah, dum. If you can make it all 4 bars, I would try to do it. And then probably similar for the oboe, but that, you can probably make it the whole way, yeah. I just did a recital with my flute buddy, and it's one of those like totally opposite things between flute and oboe. We can play forever. Okay, everybody pick up to 4. First though, actually, let's figure this out. Play your A. Play the A first. That was pretty good. Is that comfortable for you? Okay, good. And because it's an echo, right? And fortunately, like for the oboe, you're in a really easy range to play quiet. Clarinet, it's always easy to play quiet. I think bassoon, it's, unless you're like Screechosphere, it's easy to play quiet. And this is getting there, but not quite. Good, so let's try this one right at 6, significantly softer. No solo. Pull the bottom lip down and out, right? And tuck the upper lip and keep the reed in the upper lip for that. It's going to be a whole lot easier to get the core of the sound while playing softer. And the other trick is when you're playing soft, never tighten the body, ever. Just open completely so the air can keep moving. 1. And then we'll be forte. That was great. Okay, so if y'all can keep that texture, and then you can just sit right on top of that. Here we go, with the flute. Thank you. Questions? Anybody? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you beautifully.
2 questions. First, can you elaborate further on things you take into consideration when planning alternate fingerings, either in solo literature or in small ensemble literature, or
sure.
Any literature for that matter?
Yeah, well, so on oboe in particular, we have a few different ways to get to different notes. Like E flat, there are a couple fingerings, A flat, a couple fingerings, F, there are 3. So we do have multiple decisions to make. And they always have to do with the ease and facility of getting around the instrument. So I would always look at what note I'm going to, what note I'm coming from, and where that's going to put my hand where I can do the least possible. That's the idea, because we're always going for efficiency. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And a question for the group. How long have you been playing together?
We 3 have been playing together for about a year, and we added our flutist in the summer.
Okay, and was there anything specifically that led you to this piece?
I happen to adore Bozza, and we really wanted Ellen to join us
Okay, well, very well done, and thank you so much for your time. If we could have a round of applause for our performing ensemble. We're going to take a few minutes to reset, and then we'll be back at 3 o'clock. Our next ensemble is the Claude Libre Trio with the Mikhail Glinka Trio Pathétique. The ensemble members are Kwame Lewis, clarinet, John Brevnik on cello, and Susan Alexander, piano. Hope you enjoy this performance.
speaking, this was really well playing from all of you around. First thing I'm going to do is put this at full stick because they can handle it. Okay. Wait, where's the? There it is. Okay. Yeah, I think that's going to help a lot. The general impression that I got was that I want your energy levels to match a bit better. I think you're spot on, and I feel like you're a little stuck in collaborative land versus solo. Oh, my mic's not on. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Versus being an equal member of the group. Part of that might be helped by raising that, but there are a lot of nice, juicy solo moments in there. I think you can really go for it. And with you, your playing is great. So I think you can take up more space. I say that, not literally, but just in terms of your presence and being a part of the group, I think you can take up more space. Like, yeah, you've got a good thing going on here with your playing, so just open up and let it go. So let's talk about how we get there. All right, probably the slow section is going to be the easiest one to talk about that in, but let's look at the beginning real quick. So to me, is it okay if I sit? This is a little weird. I don't know if they can see me or not. But, okay. Hi. So the big thing to me as a listener was that I felt a little unsettled with exactly where your time was. And then when we got to bar 5, it was like suddenly a completely different tempo. Is that intentional?
Yes. We were thinking that the beginning was kind of like a grand kind of...
Sure.
And then we get into it, but...
I think that's fine.
Okay.
So then we need to find a way to clearly communicate that with each other so that as a listener, I'm not a little like left wondering what's happening.
Or would it be better just to play it straight faster?
Possibly. Like getting off the tie is the big one, like getting that to happen, and then making sure that your articulations are clear enough. You're going to have the easiest time with that because those are like good level, except for the A.
Right.
You can honk that out pretty well. Piano's always going to be clear, but it's going to be hard with octaves, getting that to like really come out. He's going to have the hardest time with it. But anything you can do to like, I guess, more off the string or something to make it a bit more crunchy. So can we try that here? Go ahead. Okay, so one of the ways you can do this, this is going to come from you two. She can't do this. When you have the long note on beat 4 that's tied in, drive the energy all the way through to the end. Bum 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 ga ga da dum ga da ga da. Right, and then if anything, hold back on those a bit. Dum bum bum ba ga da ga dum. Right, and try to drive that into that D sharp there. Wait, I'm looking at the clarinet line. C sharp. Okay, let's try that again. You should cue the tie.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, bum 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 bum. Right. See it? Right. So now let's see if we can do it together without my help. I do want to like an actual crescendo on the long note. Yeah. So reserve a little bit so you can right at the last little bit there. How are y'all going to communicate so you're together? You don't have to answer it. You can just do it. Let's do the second entrance. And I would say lift for the syncopation. So like the one before beat 4 and that first full bar, dum bum, and actually lift before the second note, bum bum bum, lift, bum, ga da ga da, and same thing in the next set, bum bum, lift da, right? Okay. Second set though. Yeah. Ready? Sorry. 1, 2, 3. Good. Yeah. Okay. so that's tremendously better. It's clearer, it's more like similar levels of intensity. We have those nice moments where we're really pushing through the notes here. So let's hear these first several bars by yourselves. Oh, hello. Next. Well, let's keep going for a bit. Bar 5. Okay, so Kwame, can you play lower in pitch?
Lower in pitch?
Yes, and especially like, I know it's hard on like the throat tones and stuff. My colleague uses a lot of like alternate fingerings and forked things to keep things down. It's tough in that range. But let's just check. Can you play like play a G? Let's check your A with that so you can see what we're talking about here. Oh yeah, and then you can also sink into the tone a bit more there, right? Really get that depth. Yeah. All right. So at 5, and also I would say at the end of bar 4, let it breathe for a second and then go. So like dum bum 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 ba ga da ga dum. Right, so take a second. But go ahead. Right on 5. Good. So phrasing wise, can you give me more to that second bar? And try not to dip through the dotted note, releasing all the way into the E. Go ahead, just by yourself. Yeah, that's going to work really well. Okay, everybody. I love these little those are always so fun. I think y'all can soup that up a bit more, not with time, but like just the way that you do the turn, being a very artsy with it, which I think you're doing a pretty good job of that already. But I think what y'all can do is make a bit more of the crescendo and really sing into that dotted note, and then kind of delay the 8th note just a little bit. Try that just the two of you. This is. So I guess it's what, 20, 21, 22? Do y'all have measure numbers? Y'all know where it is.
Yeah.
Where we just ended the big cadence, the bar before that, plus a half. All right, 1, so I'll give you 1, 2, and then you play on 3. 1, 2. Yeah, there you go, good. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Piano, I think you can play a little louder on this that you have kind of with the clarinet. He projects just fine, and he's playing soft, so I think you can just bring out the right hand a bit more. So let's hear this, bar 15. Y'all know what that is? E, F, D, B, and you have, oh God, tenor clef. A flat, G, E, F, C. Okay, 1, 2, ready, and. Yeah, there we are. Yeah. 1, 2, ready. Good. Okay, let's go ahead and jump to that slow section because there's a lot I think we can sink into there. There's some stuff in the trio stuff I want to do too, but let's start with this. It's such a weird marking. It says pedal and staccato. What the heck? Is that what yours says as well? All right. So can I hear that again? Just the piano. I want to kind of hear what you're doing there. I like that better than when I heard it before. It was it was a little unclear the first time. So I try it with, like, you know, really holding the pedal down once and just being, I guess, light in the hand. Let's see what that does. I think that's what you're doing, but.
More just like, let it go.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, yeah. And then try lifting it after each set of 6. Dun, da, dun, 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 da, da, right. Yeah, new pedal. Try that. Yeah. Yeah. And I think when he comes in, add the soft. That should get it. Yeah. All right. So now let's try both of you together. How that works on the piano. Whatever you're doing is good. It's clear, but it also has that nice kind of continuity that we're going for here. I bet if it were strings, it would all be that kind of like brushy ding, ba-dum, bum, bum, bum kind of thing, but you don't have a whole, you're the string section, minus you. Okay, so Kwame, I want to see if we can find a way to get this, it needs to be softer and lighter is what we're going for, but still with the natural musicality that you have, just within this slightly more intimate feel. Can you play your B for me? Now, can you do that without any tension? Much better already, good. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to elongate your back. I want you to drop your left shoulder, right? You tend to clench here, right? And think open here in the body, right? Get those shoulders back. Sit on it really, really comfortably. Get the clarinet. Now just focus it in. Even lighter if you can. Relax the left hand. There we go. Now. So you have to draw this very narrow line all the way through it. So you need to maintain what you just did and just wiggle your fingers, okay? The air support you just gave was spot on. So try that by yourself. So blow like that and just wiggle your fingers and tongue in time. So you're going, right? Small, the phrase I use these days is less air moved more quickly through a narrow focused embouchure supported by a relaxed open body. Those 4 things will make you a winner, okay? Less air, more quickly, narrow focused embouchure, relaxed open body. Try it again. Gorgeous. And it probably feels like you're doing less in a way, but that's what's going to get you there. These long sweeping lines like that. It's this constant push, just like that. Okay, together. think you can love each note a bit more. It's not super fast. Oh God, can I sing a high D? I don't think I can. So let me just hear you here. It's sad. It's in major, but it's sad. Yeah. So getting over that D to C thing, that's tough. It's the same concept as that soft playing up high, that constant with the air. Yeah, where everything's very open here but narrow here. That's what's going to get that. That was better to me. Yeah. How did it feel to you? What did you do differently?
I took my time. I didn't freak out.
Sometimes that's the answer. Good. Let me hear both of you there. This is the fourth bar of the Largo. So let me give you a hint. So yes, it does have an accent on the high D, but that's going to kind of happen anyway because it's a high D. So I would think in terms of floating the note. I'm going to do it on octave. And just let the D be an accent because it's just going to happen anyway.
Right.
Try it again. Yeah, to me that works. Again, the D's going to speak kind of like that anyway, and that sounded like an accent within piano, which is what we want here. Good. Next question for you, and then it's your turn after this. Okay. The turn in the 10th bar, do you know what you're doing? Do you need help?
Yes.
Okay.
On 3.
Let me see here. Yeah, so I would do 30-second notes on the and of 3, and then re-articulate the G. And then make it a little bit more fussy than that. But
Right.
that's the basic math under it. So try that once just mathematically.
Okay.
So we're going to go. Do that once so you can get the foundation. Ready, and. Perfect. Okay. Now just be a little bit fussy with it.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, that'll work. Good. All right, your turn. Let's see here. So you've got the same basic idea here several bars later. This is the, 21st bar of the Largo? Okay. Vibrato con anime. So an animated vibrato, I guess. All right. So, how did you tune your C string?
Just with harmonics. I matched the piano.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. That's because my viola friends. It's the same issue y'all have. Like, if you actually do perfect fifths.
It comes up.
Am I oboe splaining to you right now, or do you know all this
No,
already?
I know, yeah.
Okay.
No.
So a lot of times they'll tune the C separately. Okay.
It sounds a little sharp, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was a little high. When you hit the D, it was high, but that might just be getting to the D. And that D you just really want to sink into. And part of the issue is on like equal temperament on piano, like it's going to also have a natural spread as well. So the lower they get, the flatter it gets, the higher they get, the sharper it gets. But, yeah. Okay. So yeah, do we have a dynamic? It's all loud here. Yeah. So I think you need.
All fourth notes?
That's the last marking I see.
It's international edition of mine, so I don't.
That's the one I'm using right here. Yeah.
It doesn't even, give me markings. So.
There are a few reasons to assume that it's going to be louder here. The clarinet ends rather loud here, and the piano's not told to do anything differently. They have a double forte, and they even have sforzandos leading into yours. So I think you can like bring us some intensity here.
All right.
Yeah. This rising bit that you have here, any more sound you can get me is good.
Okay.
Yeah, you're giving it to me great now when you first come in. So I want to see if you can maintain that, and you can support a bit more. And like if you play louder, he'll play louder. Yeah. Sing spot and just really, etc. Right? Okay. It's Glinka. It's okay to do that. It's not Mozart. Yeah, here we go. First piano marking. You don't have it in your part, but we technically do, at least according to the score. So where you start the dee-dum, dee-dum, ba-dum, technically we dropped a piano. And I would do that because we've had this long, sustained, intense line so far, so this is a good spot to kind of let it come back a bit. And he almost gives it back to us when you go to the E flat, but then we come back. So definitely I think this spot where you have the turn, keep that kind of within piano. Yeah. So let me hear E flat, B flat that you don't have on your instrument. You know where we are? Okay, so forte here, really forte, maybe even double forte, quite expressive. And then when he has his diminuendo from the G flat to the F and you have this descending, then do a real diminuendo. Here we go. Ready, So like, beat-um, 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 just let it die, like tragic almost, okay? Beat 4, the beat-um, beat-um, bum, bum, bum. 2, 3. That's one of the things that makes stuff like this difficult because you just have to, it keeps going, right? Yeah. I would like to getting into the maestoso risotto. Wow, okay, I'm hungry. Maestoso risoluto, just right, you know, because it's after this intensity, so then we have this light, you know, D flat major thing that's quite lovely. So if we're going bom, ba ya dum dee, ba ya da 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 dee ya da da dee da da dee da da ba dum. So you really have to put on the brakes here. It's hard to do, but I bet you can do it. Let's see here. Can you try it for me? Just from the D, F. It's mostly you doing this. D, F, E, D, C, C.
So 2 before the maestro, so.
Correct. Oh yeah. Again, this is like late romantic Russian. Like you can go there. Yeah. In fact, it's necessary. Incomplete.
Okay.
Da,
So hold it to the very end.
oh, shit, I totally got off. Where's the C again? C.
Well,
Can somebody play a
it's
C?
D.
The rival thing. This C right here.
Okay.
What note has it on? No, what's that? No, because we just. Ah, okay. So da di da da di da da di dom. Right. Can you just do you by yourself the last 2 beats? So pull it back a little sooner. A little sooner. 2 and 3 and 1. Yeah, and that's going to be lovely when you do that in context.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's back up. Add the piano 2 bars before Miss Doso. So that kind of light nocturne sound here, just right on it. So this is the one spot where you were too soft last time.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. You can give us a bit more support here. And it's still a little bit high. Can y'all check that? Just, can you play your D flat? You were fine. And then play your G. Yeah, and it's not aided by the fact that's the third, so you got to play it on the low side. Yeah, that was a lot better, though. I think playing a little bit fuller. I mean, it does say sostenuto, so you can give it some meat, even though it's piano. Yeah. How are we on time? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, because she's got a pretty busy piano part, even though it's soft. Like it's gonna. All right, maestoso, everybody. Great thing to talk about. Resolutions that have a taper. So it's tricky because you want to back away, but if we back away too much, then it gets lost. So I've gotten into a habit recently of kind of delaying the taper until basically when I hit the release note. Right, so right at the end there, because you need to have enough for the note to land on. So let me just hear the two cello and clarinet on the sostenuto double piano. 2, 3. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good. Same spot and add the piano on beat 1. So you'll come in on the 3rd bar. 2, 3. Oh, that's you.
Oh, okay.
Everybody. 2, 3. Your left hand is correct. Your right hand, try to build me some dynamic tension going into the E natural there. So, because you're doing the right thing here, the dee-dum, right, those tapers. But the whole thing needs to crescendo, so I think that's going to come from your left hand. Can you play that for me, starting on beat 4? As a group, right? So right at this, yet another key change. This is bar 54. When you'll have your half note sforzandos. Yeah. You have enough time before this to like know what note you're about to play and get set. You need to look up, right, and like get a look at her. She's got to like look for that high F. but so if you kind of latch into what she's doing, or if you latch into her and then you watch him, one of those things, and really like land on that together. Can I still hear me? Yeah, I can. Okay. Let's try that. So let's start a bar before that, 53. Sforzando? Maybe on a Saturday morning it's a Sforzando. Yeah, so this should be more shocking. Yeah. After all this like lovely Chopin stuff that's happening, you know, dee-do, 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 la gato, da, dee-do, dee-do, do, 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 pa-da! Right? Right, yeah, we want to feel that way when that happens. So let's start at the up-tempo after that ritardando that you just had. This is bar 58, or 56? I don't know if that's a 7 or a 9. You'll know where it is. So last time when I heard this also, the tempo got a little squirrely here. Yeah, so do try to keep a little track in your head of D, da, 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 D, da, da. Keep that in your head throughout the ending here. And mostly because like it's consistently a little ahead, and so it can throw off the listener a bit. Time to wrap up. All right. Okay. So are there questions or anything that we need to address? Or? Sure. I love questions. I have so many answers.
You are an excellent coach, and we appreciate you being here today.
Well, thank you.
The first group was basically a wood ensemble. What challenges do you find as a coach working with a group where you have a string, a woodwind, and then the piano, which brings its own set of problems and solutions that you don't have in like a like instrument ensemble, like a string quartet?
Balance is always going to be a thing. In some ways, at least for me as an oboist, I enjoy working with groups that don't have my instrument, because it's really easy for me to just kind of obsess about the oboe part. And so when I don't have to do that, I can listen a bit more objectively. And so like, I don't know what the limitations are of a clarinetist or of a cellist. So like, I kind of don't care. And so I'm thinking of it from like an actual audience member's perspective. Like, they don't care if your throat tones are sharp. They play it in tune, you know? Like, that's how they feel about it. And we're like, wait, what? You know, I do actually also play piano, so you know, so I kind of know what's going on there. But yeah, it's always going to be a question of balance. Like, if you have a string quartet, you know, the sounds are really homogeneous. So, but then that presents its own challenge, because you know, then if you're playing the lead line, you've really got to come out more. But if you're playing the only oboe part in a string trio plus oboe, like, you're not going to have a problem sticking out. So, yeah. In this case, you know, while the clarinet is going to be more present, it's really easy for them to play soft. So it's pretty easy for them to balance in a group like this. And with a good cellist, and you are a good cellist, you know, they're able to really bring out the sound in a good way. And so I haven't struggled too much with balance here. Yeah.
Thank you. I do have one question for the trio, and an estimate is okay. You've been playing together for a while. About how many pieces are in your repertoire at this point?
A dozen?
Or a dozen? Say 20, 15, something like that.
About a dozen.
More than a dozen.
Okay, more than a dozen. Okay.
This is a new one. This is,
Well, thank you very much. It's been a joy to have you today.
Thank you.
Is that it? Are we done? Yeah. Okay. Yay!
Cool.